My daughter is Caitlin Gilmore, if you know her, and this is the 4th year that I've costumed for the Augusta Junior Players, and I love you guys so much. This is so much fun for me. And making these ape costumes, I'm just so excited about this. I haven't had any sleep, so you might get hyper farb, so I'm sorry about that because I worked last night. But, so what we're going to start out with is everybody needs a sheet. You can use fabric, but sheets are so much cheaper. If you haven't gotten your sheets yet, look at Goodwill, Salvation Army. That's where I got a lot of this stuff. All of this stuff actually was at Goodwill. This is a flat sheet that's down here. Here's another flat sheet for somebody that needs blue. This is a bed ruffle. I mean, you can use all kinds of various things that you could cut strips. This is part of a costume that I've already made, and this is going to be Kala. And this is a sheet, and it also has some purple t-shirt in it. So whatever accent color you need, you can use t-shirts, you can use, this is a throw. We're going to use this for John Hobbs because he needs blue. You can use whatever sort of cheap thing you can get that you're going to cut up, okay? So the base piece needs to be, this is a Goodwill shirt that I got for Kala. Something that's comfortable, nothing too tight. This is Shekinah's shorts right here, so that's great. And then also Shekinah had a t-shirt that we just cut off to make a little bit shorter. You can do this however you guys want it. So if you want to show your arms, you can show your arms. If you want to show your midriff and you're comfortable with that, your mom's comfortable with that, you can show your midriff. So whatever type of base outfit you want is good. It needs to be varied. I don't want everybody's to look the same. Everybody needs to look different. We all look different, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is the cutting and the tearing is what takes up the most time, and that's why I wanted so many people here because it takes forever. I have a flat sheet here. This is much bigger than the twins that I told you guys to get because they just had it and I bought it at Goodwill. So the idea is to cut some strips of fabric that are about that wide or a little bit wider. You can vary them. Some a little bit wider, some a little bit smaller. That way you have some variation in your costume. So what we're going to do is if you fold your flat sheet in half and lay it on your surface, the first thing you're going to do is start, and I just kind of do 2 strips one way and 2 strips the other way. Because when you go to tear this, by cutting it on different grains, by cutting it different ways, then you get a different texture of the tear. And so it makes the costume just look a little bit more real, and it's not all symmetrical because you want it to look different. So we're going to cut the first strip here, and it doesn't have to be perfect, y'all, because you want it to look different, so you just start cutting. And so I'm going to cut 2 strips this way, and then when I've got those cut, then I'm going to cut 2 strips this way, about the same width. And then I'm going to go back and cut 2 strips this way. It doesn't have to be 2, however you want to do it. Just vary some of the strips, because if you cut it this way, you're going on one grain. If you cut it this way, you're going on another grain. And when you go to tear these strips, they will look different. So Shekinah has been working so hard over here, and she has already cut her sheet, and so we have the strips like this. And so what she did then was she laid the strip down, and then you cut about an inch, inch and a half, wider, smaller, thinner. You cut these little notches in your strip of fabric all the way across. And I fold the strip in half, that way you kind of lessen your cutting. You can kind of stack them up, moms, if you want to do that too. I did that at home too. So once you get these little notches here, you're gonna actually tear, and the tearing is the hard part. You want to be careful. You want to tear it down to leaving yourself about 1 inch at the bottom. Okay, you're gonna tear, 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 and it's just like you just sit there and cut and tear. Don't panic if you tear through and it tears off, because we'll just use it anyway and glue it on there. So you just keep tearing. It's just a matter of cutting the big strips, cutting the little notches, and then tearing. And then once we have it, once you have all of your stuff torn, and I recommend tearing everything you have, and you have a big bad pile of stuff, that's when you're ready to start gluing. Because once you start gluing, you kind of want to lay out what you have, and then you'll just start glue gunning these strips on here. So when we get to that point, then we can start the video again, and I'll show you guys how to glue it on. You'll have these great big long strips like this, And when we go to glue, you're going to cut all of these shredded strips into about sections this big. And you'll glue them on into sections. You don't want to glue it all the way around because then you lose any movement of that fabric. So you've got to glue it on into little sections. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.